Act I, the announcement, opening, Griffin Kitchen, Lois, the Quahog Community Center is holding its annual neighborhood cooking competition, and I signed us up. Peter, Lois, you know my only signature dish is microwaved Pop-Tarts. Cutaway, Peter pulling a burnt Pop-Tart out of the microwave and saying, perfect, just how the chef intended. Meg, what if we just let Mom cook everything? Lois, no, the rules say every family member has to make a dish. Stewie, excellent, time to unleash my foie gras cupcakes upon the masses. Act 2, the menu they decide on dishes, Lois, classic apple pie. Peter, bacon-wrapped bacon. Chris, a giant nacho platter. Meg, vegan chili. Stewie, gourmet cupcakes with a hint of world domination. Brian, wine-paired bruschetta. B-plot, Brian's rival chef Brian runs into his old rival, a smug schnauzer named Wolfgang, who's also competing. Wolfgang, prepare to be humiliated, again. Brian, this time, Wolfgang, the flavor will speak for itself. Stewie, yes, in Brian's case, it will say underseasoned and pretentious. Act 3, kitchen chaos. Peter deep fries his bacon-wrapped bacon, setting off the smoke alarm. Chris's nacho platter collapses under its own weight. Meg forgets to soak the beans for her chili, creating spicy gravel. Stewie adds an experimental ingredient to his cupcakes that makes them glow faintly in the dark. Brian spends so long arranging his bruschetta artistically that he runs out of time to toast the bread. Act 4, judging time. The judges arrive. Lois's apple pie is perfect. Peter's bacon-wrapped bacon is declared medically dangerous. Chris's nachos are eaten entirely by one judge before anyone else can try them. Meg's chili cracks a judge's tooth. Stewie's cupcakes hypnotize one of the judges. Brian's bruschetta gets mocked by Wolfgang, who wins best presentation. Act V, epilogue, Griffin living room, Lois, well, at least I won best dessert. Peter, and I won. Most bacon? Stewie, I won a loyal hypnotized follower. Brian, and I won nothing. Stewie, as usual. Episode title, Griffins Go for Gold. Act I, the challenge. Opening, Griffin living room. Lois announces, the Quahog Community Park is holding a family sports tournament this weekend. I think we should enter. Peter retorts, Lois, I haven't played sports since dodgeball in high school, and that ended with me hiding behind the bleachers eating cake. Cutaway, teenage Peter under the bleachers with frosting on his face whispering, I'm winning. Chris eagerly says, I'll play. I've been working on my athleticism. To which Meg responds sarcastically, do they have something for people who hate sports and sunlight? Stewie slyly adds, perhaps I'll enter the mental games category, and crush my enemies with intellect. Act 2, Team Griffin. The tournament consists of a series of events, relay race, tug-of-war, dodgeball, three-legged race, trivia round. Lois tries to get the family to practice, but Peter, in typical fashion, eats the relay baton claiming, I thought it was a breadstick. Meanwhile, Chris keeps tripping over his shoelaces. Meg adamantly refuses to participate unless she can wear sunglasses and headphones. Stewie, with mischievous glee, spends most of the time setting booby traps for psychological advantage. B-plot, Brian's rivalry. Brian eyes another dog on a rival family's team, a sleek golden retriever named Duke. That guy's just a show-off, he mutters. Stewie chimes in, you're just jealous his fur doesn't smell like stale wine. Act 3, the games begin. Relay race, Peter is inevitably clumsy, dropping the baton and chasing it into the snack stand. In the tug-of-war, Chris pulls too hard, only to end up falling backward into the mud. During dodgeball, Lois showcases surprising skill, taking out 3 people in a row. Peter, unsurprisingly, is eliminated instantly. The 3-legged race sees Meg and Stewie paired, resulting in constant bickering and falling over. In the trivia round, Stewie dominates, but Peter frustratingly answers Shaquille O'Neal for every question. Act 4, the final event. The championship boils down to the obstacle course. Lois starts strong, maintaining excellent speed. Chris gets hilariously stuck in the tire run, while Meg climbs the wall but refuses to jump down, quipping, "Because my hair will get frizzy." Peter tries to cross through the water pit, only to be chased out by a duck. Stewie, ever cunning, uses his traps to slow the other team, but one backfires, hitting Brian with a bucket of slime. Act V, Epilogue. Griffin living room, Lois concedes, "Well, we didn't win, but we tried our best." Peter reassures, "Yeah, and I learned sports are like nachos, they're better when you're watching from the couch." Stewie reflects, "I learned sabotage is an art, and I'm still perfecting it." Brian, still sulking, adds, "I learned I hate Duke more than I thought possible." Cutaway, Duke on TV winning Best Dog Athlete, while Brian throws popcorn at the screen. The end.
Cold open it. Griffin living room. Afternoon, Chris is showing Lois a photo of him with a giant cartoon squirrel at Quahog theme park. Peter is eating cotton candy. Chris dad, "You should get a job at the park. You get to wear a costume and wave at people." Peter Chris, "That's perfect for me. I already wave at strangers for no reason." Lois Peter, "Those mascot costumes get really hot, and you have to stay in character." Peter Lois, "I've been in character my whole life. Lovable idiot." Nailed it. Cutaway gag, EXT, Street, Day Peter in a squirrel suit waving at cars. A driver throws him a sandwich. Peter, best tip I've ever gotten. ACT1EXT, Quahog theme park, Day, Peter shows up wearing half of a mascot costume because he got tired halfway. Park manager, you'll wear the full suit, greet guests, and take pictures without scaring children. Peter, got it, wave, hug, and don't talk about taxes. Montage, Peter AS mascot trips over his oversized mascot feet and knocks over a popcorn stand. Dances with kids, then steals their fries mid-hug. Accidentally gets in a fist fight with another mascot over territory. Int. Griffin kitchen, night. Peter brags to the family. Peter, best part about being a mascot? Nobody knows it's you until you take the head off at the snack bar. Stewie, yes, anonymity ruined by gluttony. ACT2EXT, Quahog theme park, Day, Peter is at the park again, this time in full costume, but now realizing the weight of his commitment. Peter, VO, Day 2, sweat to mustiness ratio, unbearable. Act I, the setup, opening, Griffin kitchen, Lois. The kids' summer camp counselor quit last minute, and they're desperate for volunteers. I signed us up to run it for a week. Peter, Lois, I'm not camp counselor material. I'm more campfire accident material. Cutaway, Peter trying to roast a marshmallow, accidentally lighting the whole campfire pit on fire while yelling, "It's fine, it's fine." Chris, cool. I'll be in charge of the sports. Meg, do I have to go? Stewie, oh yes, I'd love to teach children survival skills, like how to fend off raccoons with a broom. Act 2, first day at camp. The Griffins are assigned roles. Lois, camp director Peter, activities coordinator Chris, sports leader Meg, arts and crafts, a role she clearly hates, Stewie, and Brian, nature hike guides. Things go wrong immediately. Peter turns archery into shooting soda comes off my head. Chris loses a dodgeball game to a group of 6-year-olds. Meg gets glue stuck in her hair. Stewie leads the nature hike directly into a beehive. B-plot, Brian's cabin crush Brian meets another camp volunteer, a laid-back yoga instructor named Claire. Brian, she's the perfect blend of grace and outdoors a charm. Stewie, she smells like pine cones and bad decisions. Act 3, Camp Chaos. The kids revolt when lunch turns out to be mystery meat. Peter tries to calm them down with a camp-wide talent show, but a kid's magic trick sets the stage curtain on fire. Act I, the setup. Opening, Griffin living room, Lois. I got free tickets to the Quahog traveling circus tonight. Peter, awesome. I've always wanted to smell popcorn and fear at the same time. Cutaway, Peter sitting in a circus tent with a clown chasing him with a pie yelling, "You know what you did." Chris, do they have elephants? Meg, do they have a reason for existing in 2025? Stewie, perhaps they have a bearded lady I can interview for my memoirs. Act 2, the accident at the circus. Peter gets inspired to join in during the clown act, accidentally knocking over part of the trapeze rig. The ringmaster, desperate to fill the gaps while fixing it, offers the Griffins temporary jobs for the rest of the week. Lois, Peter, we are not joining the circus. Peter, too late, Lois, I've already named my act, the Magnificent Meatball. Act 3, the acts everyone gets assigned a role. Peter, human cannonball, but keeps aiming for the snack stand. Lois, trapeze artist, ends up babysitting the real performers. Chris, animal caretaker, bonding mostly with a llama named Steve. Meg, balloon vendor, constantly loses customers to the cotton candy stand. Stewie and Brian, knife throwing act. Stewie throws, Brian panics. B-plot, Brian's crush Brian falls for a glamorous trapeze artist named Valentina. Brian, she's exotic, graceful, Stewie, and way out of your league. Act 4, the disaster performance on their big night. Peter overshoots the cannon and lands in the popcorn machine. Lois' trapeze bar snaps. She lands on a safety net, but is pelted with peanuts. Chris' llama escapes into the crowd. Meg's balloons tangle around the ringmaster. Stewie's knife misses the target and pops all of Meg's balloons at once. The audience loves it, thinking it's all part of the show. Act V, epilogue, a Griffin living room, Lois. Well, that's the last time we join the circus. Peter, speak for yourself. I got a lifetime pass to the snack stand. Stewie, and I got a llama's phone number. Don't ask. Brian, and I got rejected. Again. Cutaway, llama Steve lounging on the couch wearing sunglasses. Act I, the offer. Opening, Griffin living room, Lois. Peter, why is there a flyer saying we're the house band for the SS Atlantic Dream cruise ship? Peter, oh, that's because I signed us up for a free cruise. All we have to do is provide live entertainment. Lois, Peter, none of us can play instruments. Peter, Lois, the kazoo is an instrument. Cutaway, Peter playing kazoo into a microphone while people boo. Act 2, setting sail, they board the ship and get assigned instruments. Peter, lead singer, and kazoo soloist. Lois, keyboard, Chris, drums, keeps losing the sticks. Meg, bass, barely audible. Stewie, electric guitar, Brian, saxophone, because it makes me look cool. Their first performance is so bad the audience throws bread rolls, which Peter eats mid-song. B-plot, Stewie's ship takeover. Stewie decides he should be captain instead of a guitarist and starts scheming to overthrow the actual captain by winning over the crew with strategically distributed pudding cups. Act 3, Trouble on the High Seas. Peter dedicates every song to free shrimp cocktails. Chris accidentally hits a passenger in the face with a drumstick. Meg gets her bass strap tangled in a microphone cord. Stewie's pudding coup gains momentum. Brian spends more time flirting with passengers than practicing. When a tropical storm hits, the captain asks the Griffins to play something calming. Peter chooses "We'll Rock You." Act 4. Mutiny and mayhem. Stewie's takeover causes confusion among the crew, and the ship briefly drifts off course. Peter tries to help by making an announcement over the PA system, but only succeeds in starting a buffet stampede. The storm sends the drum kit sliding across the stage, with Chris still playing. Act V. Epilogue. A Griffin living room. Lois. Well, we're banned from ever performing on a cruise ship again. Peter. Joke's on them, we got free shrimp for life. Stewie. And I got a taste for power, nautical power. Brian. And I got seasick. Cutaway. Stewie on a ship deck wearing a captain's hat, shouting, "Full speed ahead," while pudding cups rain from above. The end. Peter. Lois, the kazoo is an instrument. Cutaway. Peter playing kazoo into a microphone while people boo. They board the ship and get assigned instruments. Peter, lead singer, and kazoo soloist. Lois, keyboard. Chris, drums, keeps losing the sticks. Meg, bass, barely audible. Stewie, electric guitar. Brian, saxophone, because it makes me look cool. Their first performance is so bad the audience throws bread rolls, which Peter eats mid-song. Stewie decides he should be captain instead of a guitarist, and starts scheming to overthrow the actual captain by winning over the crew with strategically distributed pudding cups. Peter dedicates every song to free shrimp cocktails. Chris accidentally hits a passenger in the face with a drumstick. Act I. The Invite. Opening. Griffin living room. Lois. Family, I got us tickets to be on Family Face Off, the hit game show where families compete for $100,000. Peter. Lois, that's amazing. We can finally buy that giant hot tub shaped like a hamburger. Cutaway. Peter floating in a burger-shaped hot tub, taking a bite out of the bun and spitting it out, saying, "Oh, that's foam." Meg. Do we actually have to play? Lois. Yes, Meg. It's a family game. We need all of us. Stewie. Wonderful. I shall crush the opposition like a peanut under a steamroller. Act 2. The first round. The host, a shiny-toothed man named Vince Victory, announces the first challenge, speed trivia. Lois nails the history questions. Stewie crushes science. Peter answers Batman for half the questions. Meg's mic doesn't work for her one correct answer. They barely scrape into round 2. B-plot. Brian's backstage rivalry. Brian meets the rival team's dog, a smug poodle named Pierre. Pierre. May the best canine win. Brian. Oh, I will. And I'll do it without looking like a throw pillow. Act 3. Physical challenge. Round 2 is a giant human hamster wheel obstacle course. Lois sprints through like a pro. Peter gets stuck halfway, demanding snacks. Chris falls out and lands in the foam pit. Meg trips, but somehow triggers a shortcut that gets them to the finish. Act 4. The final round. The last challenge. The Family Lightning Gauntlet. Trivia plus physical stunts. Stewie sabotages the rival team's buzzer. Peter gets distracted by the concession stand mid-race. Lois carries the team in both trivia and balance beam sections. Meg answers the tiebreaker question correctly, only for Peter to yell the wrong answer louder, costing them the win. Act V. Epilogue. A Griffin living room. Lois. Well, we lost the $100,000. Peter. But we got these free shirts and a coupon for half-off funnel cake. Stewie. I still count it as a victory, the poodle cried. Brian. Yeah, okay. That was satisfying. Act I. The announcement. Opening. Griffin living room. Lois. The Quahog Community Center is hosting a family talent show next week. I thought it'd be fun if we entered together. Peter. Lois, the Griffins have plenty of talent. I can burp the alphabet backwards. Cutaway. Peter burping backwards while a crowd looks horrified. Meg. Finally, a chance to prove myself. Chris. I'm gonna play guitar. Stewie. And I shall perform a one-act opera based on my life, a tragedy, obviously. Act 2. The rehearsals, the family act falls apart quickly because everyone wants the spotlight. Lois wants to sing a wholesome song. Peter insists on doing stand-up comedy about why hot dogs are funny. Meg wants to do slam poetry. Chris insists on playing a 3-minute guitar solo. Stewie wants the stage for 20 minutes minimum. Brian volunteers to be the MC just so he can wear a suit and hold a martini. B-plot, Peter's talent upgrade. Peter, afraid his act isn't good enough, hires Quagmire to be his talent coach. Quagmire, first lesson, no pants. Peter, I like where this is going. Act 3, Showtime, the talent show begins. Lois sings, but Peter interrupts with hot dog jokes. Meg's slam poetry is drowned out by Chris accidentally cranking his guitar amp to max volume. Stewie storms on stage mid-act, demanding the lights dim for his opera. Brian forgets he's hosting and spends 5 minutes telling a story about French wine. The audience is confused but can't stop watching. Act 4. The chaos. Peter attempts a grand finale by juggling hot dogs, Chris's guitar, and Stewie's toy laser gun, which fires into the ceiling, setting off the sprinklers. Lois. Peter, you ruined everything. Peter. No, Lois. I made it memorable. Act I, the offer. Opening, Griffin kitchen. Lois. The Quahog Grand Hotel is short-staffed this weekend, and they're paying double to anyone who can help run it. Peter. Lois, that's perfect. We can get rich, and I can finally wear a bellhop hat without being arrested. Cutaway. Peter in a hotel lobby stealing mints while a bellhop chases him out. Chris. Can I be the guy who carries people's luggage? Meg. Can I just work the front desk? Stewie. I call management. Every great empire starts with a hotel. Act 2. Assigned roles, they each get jobs. Lois, acting hotel manager. Peter, concierge, disaster waiting to happen. Chris, bellhop. Meg, front desk receptionist. Stewie and Brian, in charge of guest relations, aka VIP service. Peter starts telling guests about secret attractions that don't exist, like the rooftop llama petting zoo. B-plot. Stewie's 5-star scheme. Stewie decides to boost the hotel's rating by bribing guests with over-the-top services, rose petal baths, champagne breakfasts, and personal puppet shows. Brian. Stewie, this is costing the hotel money. Stewie. Brian, you can't put a price on a 5-star review, except I just did. It's $200. Act 3. Chaos in the lobby. Peter double books the presidential suite, forcing 2 angry guests to share a bed. Chris drops an entire luggage cart into the fountain. Meg accidentally gives a room key to the wrong person, leading to an awkward surprise encounter. Stewie's puppet show ends with him insulting a VIP guest. Act 4. Big event disaster. The hotel is hosting a black-tie charity gala. Peter mistakes the caterer's trays for a buffet and eats half the hors d'oeuvres. ACT2EXT, the Quahog mini golf. Next day, Peter's boss visits for a surprise inspection. Boss Peter, why is there a live kangaroo on the 9th hole? Peter, it's a hazard. Gotta spice up the game. Who needs sand traps when you have kangaroo boxing matches happening on the green? Boss, if you say so. But remember, don't let anything go too wild. Cut to EXT, Quahog mini golf. Evening, Chris and Meg visit and discover chaos. Chris, Dad, you've got to see this. The place looks like a carnival threw up on it. MEG Peter, why is Mr. Herbert running the snack stand dressed like Napoleon? Peter, it's promotional. Buy a hot dog, get a history lesson. Everyone loves history, right? Cutaway gag, famous Battle of Waterloo. Mr. Herbert explains the battle to confused customers while serving snacks. Back to scene. Peter tries to play it cool as the course turns into an anarchic funhouse. Act 3 int. Griffin living room, night. Lois turns on the local news. News anchor in other news, a local mini golf course is attracting attention for its, unconventional approach. Peter nervously watches the report. Lois looks skeptical. Lois, Peter, are you sure you're handling this professionally? Peter, Lois, how many managers can say their ideas make it on TV? Back at the course, municipal inspectors arrive to evaluate the chaos. Act I, the setup, opening, Griffin kitchen. Lois. Peter, why did you sign us up for something called America's Fiercest Kitchens? Peter, Lois, I thought it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. Cutaway, Peter sitting at a fancy table with celebrity chefs glaring at him as he eats raw ingredients. Chris, wait, is this a cooking competition? Meg, we're doomed. Stewie, speak for yourself. I shall dominate and destroy these so-called chefs. Act 2. Entering the kitchen, the family arrives on set and gets assigned as a team. The host, Chef Dominique Flame, announces, your first challenge, make a gourmet meal in 30 minutes. Roles, Lois, head chef, tries to keep everyone in line. Peter, in charge of meat station but eats half the ingredients. Chris, salad prep, but turns it into a giant salad tower. Meg, dessert station, sabotaged when Peter mistakes the sugar for salt. Stewie and Brian, creative plating, which turns into a competition over who can make the fanciest design. B-plot, Stewie versus the prodigy chef. Stewie learns one of the rival contestants is a 7-year-old cooking prodigy named Hugo Flame. Stewie, a worthy nemesis. But I shall crush you like an undercooked souffle. Act 3, kitchen chaos. Peter burns the steak, then tries to fix it by covering it in barbecue sauce and glitter. Chris's salad tower collapses into the soup pot. Meg's dessert explodes in the oven, coating the kitchen in chocolate smoke. Stewie's fancy plate design includes a tiny edible diorama of himself. Brian spends most of the challenge flirting with the judge. Act 4. The judges are confused. Lois's main dish is okay, but drowning in glitter from Peter's steak. Chris's soup salad hybrid is avant-garde but gross. Meg's dessert is declared a biohazard. Stewie's edible diorama actually impresses one judge, until they discover it's poisoned, just a little bit, according to Stewie. They're eliminated, but the audience votes their chaos as most entertaining. Act V. Epilogue, Griffin living room, Lois. Well, we didn't win the $50,000 prize. Peter, but we got all these free aprons. Stewie, and I proved my superiority over Hugo Flame in my heart. Brian, and I got the judge's phone number. Cutaway, Peter wearing an apron in bed, eating glitter-covered steak. The Yendi, do you want the next one about the Griffins accidentally running a zoo for a day after the staff goes missing? That could be total animal chaos. Act I, the setup, opening, Quahog Mall food court, a Lois. We just need to pick up a few things, then we'll head home. Peter, Lois, you can't rush art, and by art, I mean my quest to try every free sample in this mall. Cutaway, Peter in a food court line repeatedly wearing fake mustaches for more samples. Chris, ew, can we check out the arcade? Meg, I'm going to the bookstore. Don't follow me. Stewie, Brian, I sense an opportunity for chaos in this place. Act 2. The lock-in while shopping. The Griffins lose track of time. The mall closes, lights dim, and the security gates drop. Peter, relax, Lois. This is like night at the museum, but with more Auntie Anne's pretzels. Lois, we need to find security. Peter, or we can explore. B-plot, Stewie and Brian's heist. Stewie convinces Brian to help him liberate expensive gadgets from the electronics store. Brian, you mean steal. Stewie, such an ugly word. I prefer redistribute to myself. Act 3, Mall Mayhem. Peter rides the escalators in reverse until he falls off. Chris hosts a fashion show in the department store, wearing all the women's hats at once. Meg locks herself in the bookstore's cafe to eat all the muffins. Stewie and Brian trigger the mall's motion sensors while sneaking gadgets, setting off a disco light security mode. Cutaway, Stewie dancing under the flashing lights holding a PlayStation controller. Act 4, Security Showdown. A sleepy mall guard finally spots them. Peter distracts him by starting a midnight mall Olympics, shopping cart races, food court hot dog eating, and perfume counter dodgeball. Lois, Peter, we're getting arrested. Peter, not if I win the gold medal in hot dogs. Act V, Epilogue. A Griffin living room. Lois, we're lucky the guard let us off with a warning. Peter, and even luckier he gave me this free pretzel coupon. Stewie, and I have the few souvenirs. Brian, you mean stolen goods. Stewie, semantics, Brian, semantics. Peter the beach lifeguard. ACT2EXT, Quahog Beach, day. Peter is attempting to teach a CPR class with disastrous results. He pretends a CPR mannequin is choking and performs the Heimlich maneuver, sending its head flying into the ocean. Beach supervisor Peter, you can't just make up rescue techniques. Peter, hey, I'm thinking outside the lifeguard box here. Beach supervisor, well, maybe think inside it for a while. Peter heads back to his lifeguard stand. He spots a commotion in the water and jumps in to save someone. Cutaway gag, EXT, Ocean Day. Peter discovers it's just a group of dolphins playing a prank on him. One of them is wearing sunglasses. Peter real mature, flipper. Act 3 int. Griffin living room, night. The family is watching TV. Peter enters covered in seaweed after another failed rescue attempt. Lois, Peter, maybe lifeguarding isn't your thing. Peter, Lois, you should have seen me. I was like a chubby Aquaman. Lois, I did see you. You tried to rescue a cooler full of sodas. Peter, those sodas needed saving. Comedy gag and Griffin house day. Peter is in the garage, practicing CPR on the garden gnome. Peter, you're gonna make it, little buddy. Peter's pager beeps. EXT, Quahog Beach, day. Peter arrives to find an actual emergency. A kid stuck in a sandcastle. Kid, help, I'm trapped in New Jersey. Peter ends the day heroically, finally saving the kid, earning the title of Most Improved Lifeguard. Peter Griffin as a wedding DJ is exactly the kind of chaotic yet endearing situation we'd expect from our favorite Rhode Island family. With episode title, Peter the Wedding DJ, let's dive further. Act 2 int. Griffin living room, day. Peter's DJ business is surprisingly taking off, and he's been booked for multiple weddings, much to Lois's suspicion. Lois, Peter, just because they haven't banned you yet doesn't mean you're a success. Peter, oh Lois, where's your imagination? I'm practically a musical genius, like Beethoven if he mixed EDM tracks. Cutaway gag and Beethoven studio, day. Beethoven, frustrated by piano, plugs in headphones and starts bobbing his head to an electronic remix. EXT, outdoor wedding day. Peter is standing by the DJ booth, looking overly confident. Groom, remember, just keep it simple. My grandma finds loud noises a bit distressing. Peter, simple? Dude, I'm talking about a DJ revolution. Imagine a drumline eruption in the middle of the cake cutting.
Int.
Outdoor wedding day, the ceremony proceeds. When the groom and bride kiss, Peter plays Another One Bites the Dust, much to the groom's horror. Act 3 Int. Griffin kitchen night. Lois, Meg, and Stewie watch a wedding video where Peter heroically, albeit disastrously, rappers commentary over the first dance. MEG Dad, not everybody wants surprise rap battles during their reception. Peter O, so now everyone's a critic. Stewie, you've turned the art of wedding ruining into an Olympic sport, Peter.
Int.
Church wedding day, Peter's final gig. Determined to prove himself, he shows up in a tuxedo but accidentally plays the church organ's demo track on repeat. Bride, exasperated, well, at least it's cheerful.
Int.
Griffin house day, Peter finally gets home to a surprise. Lois Peter, the neighborhood organized an intervention. Act 2 YNT. Quahog Marine Life Center day, Peter is now leading a tour group. He swaggers along like he owns the place. Peter, over here we have the seahorses. They always look so relaxed. That's because they're always sea napping. Young girl, is that true? Peter, whispering, of course, little miss. And they have dreams about finding seashells the size of beds. Suddenly, Peter spots Joe in his wheelchair, stuck on a ramp near the big tank. Joe, Peter, a little help here? Peter, giving a thumbs up, don't worry, Joe. I'll recruit a dolphin to save you like in all those kids' movies. Dolphin noise as Peter tries to communicate with one. Act 2 Break-Int. Griffin living room, night. Lois is reading a book called Aquariums for Dummies. Peter bursts in, looking proud. Lois, how was your first day as a guide, Peter? Peter Lois, it was amazing. I educated the masses and made several lifelong aquatic enemies. Turns out octopuses are more vengeful than you think. ACT 3XT, Quahog Aquarium Day. Peter is giving a final tour. Suddenly, there's an alarm. Peter, shouting, everybody calm down. Stay in single file. This is the exact opposite of a Finding Nemo situation. Peter sees a pelican that has somehow set off an alarm, flapping and squawking. Peter, awkward chuckle. Oh, folks, just a feathered friend testing our alarm system. Pelicans, the sneakiest of the avian rebels. Cut to outside. Brian and Stewie are watching from behind the bushes. Cold open it. Griffin living room. Morning. Peter is watching a commercial where a drone delivers a pizza to someone's doorstep. TV announcer. VO. Quahog Express is now hiring certified delivery drone operators. Peter Lois. This is it. I can sit in a chair, eat snacks, and fly robots that bring people food. It's basically my dream job. Lois Peter, you have zero experience with drones. Peter, not true. Remember when I tried to make a drone out of a hair dryer and a toaster? Cutaway gag, EXT, backyard, day Peter's drone bursts into flames midair and crashes into Cleveland's yard. Cleveland size. Cleveland, here we go again. Act 1 Int. Quahog Express warehouse, day. Peter shows up wearing aviator sunglasses and holding a bag of chips. Supervisor, your job is to control the drones, deliver packages, and avoid collisions. Peter got it, like a video game, but with more lawsuits. Montage. Peter AS drone operator delivers a burger to the wrong house, then eats it to avoid waste. Uses a drone to spy on the line at the donut shop. Accidentally chases a jogger for 3 blocks while trying to test speed mode.
Int.
Griffin kitchen, night. Peter brags to the family. Peter, best part about this job? You get paid to sit in a chair and make buzzing noises. Stewie, yes, the pinnacle of laziness disguised as technology. Act 2 Int. Quahog Express warehouse, day. Peter, confident and reckless, decides to show off some tricks with the drones to his coworkers. Peter, hey, everyone, check this out. I've mastered the figure 8. Peter maneuvers the drone in a chaotic figure 8, causing havoc. Supervisor Peter, this isn't a circus. It's a delivery service. Peter accidentally sends a drone into the employee break room, knocking over coffee cups. Peter, oops, coffee express delivery.
Ant.
Griffin living room, night. News reports about mysterious drone mishaps are appearing everywhere. News anchor reports of rogue drones buzz around Quahog as bizarre drone mishaps escalate. Lois Peter, do you know anything about this? Peter Lois, of course not. I'd never use company drones for mischief. My mischief is strictly reserved for the kitchen. ACT3XT, Quahog Sky Day. Peter faces a drone disaster of his making as multiple drones entangle midair. Peter, oh no, they're forming a robot rebellion. Peter frantically tries to regain control, the drones ironically forming the word, help in the sky.
Ant.
Quahog Express Warehouse Day. Crowds gather as authorities demand answers. Peter sheepishly steps forward with the remote. Supervisor Griffin, care to explain why half the city thinks they're being attacked by cyber robots? Peter, surprise aerial art?
Ant.
Griffin kitchen, night. Peter has a bandage on his head, recounting the day to his family. Peter, well, turns out drone piloting isn't as easy as it looks. Stewie, fascinating how the drones have taken on your self-destructive habits. MEG, and you lost your job, right? Peter, yeah, but on the plus side, I did break the record for most simultaneous coffee spills. Take that, Starbucks. Everyone groans as the screen fades out.
Ant.
Griffin living room, morning. Peter is watching a news segment about a hot air balloon festival. TV announcer, Theo, Quahog's annual hot air balloon festival is looking for new volunteer pilots. Peter Lois, this is it. I'll become a hot air balloon pilot. I'm basically full of hot air already. Lois Peter, flying a balloon takes skill and training. Peter, please, Lois.
How hard can it be?
You just go up and don't fall down. Cutaway gag, EXT. Sky, Day. Peter's balloon drifts into a billboard, tearing it open to reveal a giant ad for Meg's sad poetry blog. EXT. Balloon training field day. Peter arrives wearing aviator sunglasses, a scarf, and a pilot's cap. Balloon coordinator, do you have any aviation experience?
Peter, yes.
I once flew a kite for 3 hours until it got stuck in Cleveland's chimney. Montage. Peter AS balloon pilot waves to people below while dropping coupons for a donut shop. Accidentally drifts into a wedding photo shoot. Uses the balloon's burner to toast marshmallows mid-flight.
Ant.
Griffin kitchen, night. Peter brags to the family. Peter, best part about being a balloon pilot? You're technically working, but everyone just thinks you're on vacation. Stewie, yes, a perfect job for a man who mistakes recklessness for adventure. EXT, Airfield Day. Peter is tasked with flying a VIP in his balloon. VIP, I hear you're the best in the business, Peter. Peter, well, let's just say I've got the right amount of hot air to keep things afloat. The balloon accidentally enters restricted airspace, causing a squad of military jets to escort them back with dramatic maneuvers.
Ant.
Griffin house. Night. Lois, I saw you on the news being escorted by fighter jets. Peter, they said I was a national security threat. Lois, isn't that cool? EXT, Balloon Festival Day. Peter finds himself in a hot air balloon race as a last-minute replacement. Peter, all right. 1 balloon against a dozen. It's just like dodgeball, but with more floating. EXT, Festival grounds. Later, Peter's balloon comes in last, but receives a trophy for most entertaining flight. Balloon coordinator, against all odds, you managed to entertain the entire festival. Peter C. Lois, turns out being full of hot air really does come in handy. Laughter from the crowd as the screen fades out. Act 2 Int. Quahog Science Museum Day. Peter is leading a tour group, clearly making up facts. Peter, so, This T-Rex skeleton here? Yeah, scientists found it fully intact playing chess with a triceratops. Tourist, really? Peter O, absolutely. Paleontologists were skeptical at first, but when they saw it was a close game, they were convinced. Scene shifts to Stewie and Brian trailing the group, shaking their heads in disbelief. Brian, Stewie, anywhere else, Peter's tenure there would be over in a hot second. Stewie, yes, but here, his ignorance is a priceless fossil.
Int.
Science Museum, Dinosaur Exhibit Day. Peter leans against a Tyrannosaurus tail, accidentally activating a Dino Roar recording. Peter, cool, huh? I did that on purpose to show how fierce these lizards were. Cut to a kid pulls on a lever marked Do Not Touch, causing the museum lights to flicker. Kid, is this all part of the tour? Peter, absolutely. It's a lights show in the spirit of scientific zaniness. Now, onwards to the gift shop. Act 3 Int. Griffin living room, night. Lois, Stewie, and Chris discuss Peter's shenanigans at the museum. Lois, I just hope they don't expect Peter to actually learn anything. Chris, maybe he'll discover a new comet and name it after me. Peter bursts through the front door, carrying a cardboard box. Cold open it. Griffin living room, evening. Peter is on the couch, holding an empty pizza box. Peter, Lois, I just realized something. I eat so much pizza, I might as well get paid to deliver it. Lois, Peter, pizza delivery requires speed, responsibility, and not eating the order before it gets there. Peter, Lois, I can do at least one of those things. Cutaway gag gets tea, front porch. Night, Peter handing a customer a box with only one slice left. Peter, there was traffic. ACT1EXT. Sal's Pizzeria, day. Peter arrives wearing a pizza pattern cap and holding a garlic bread in his mouth. SEL, owner. You'll deliver hot pizzas fast and keep the customers happy. Peter, got it. And if I get lost, I'll just eat the evidence. Montage. Peter AS pizza delivery guy delivers to the wrong house. Stays for dinner anyway. Uses the pizza bag as a pillow for a power nap. Tries to drift the delivery car into a driveway.
Int.
Griffin kitchen, night. Peter brags to the family. Peter, best part about delivering pizza? You get paid, you get tips, and you get first dibs if the customer doesn't answer the door. Stewie, yes, a true innovator in culinary theft. Montage. Peter AS pizza delivery guy delivers to the wrong house, stays for dinner anyway. Act I, the mix-up. Opening, Griffin living room, Lois. Peter, why is your name on this ballot for Quahog City Council? Peter, oh, that? I thought I was entering a raffle for free pizza. Cutaway. Peter at a sign-up table, city council candidates, asking, does this come with breadsticks? Chris, so, you're running for office now. Meg, this is going to be embarrassing. Stewie, finally, a chance to overthrow a government from the inside. Act 2, the campaign. Peter launches his Vote for Fun campaign. Slogan, more hot dog stands in public libraries. Lois tries to make him take it seriously. Chris is in charge of making campaign posters, which are mostly drawings of sandwiches. Meg handles social media, but gets trolled nonstop. Stewie and Brian run the attack ads against Peter's opponent, Councilman Rudd. B-plot, Stewie's dirty politics. Stewie digs into Rudd's past and finds out he once returned a library book late. Brian, that's not really a scandal. Stewie, it is if we add dramatic music and slow motion. Act 3, the debate. At the televised debate, Lois gives Peter talking points, but he ignores them. Peter promises to replace all speed bumps with trampolines. Chris accidentally takes the mic and rants about pizza rolls. Meg gets booed just for being on stage. Stewie sneaks into the control booth to flash "Vote Peter" on the big screen. Act 4. Election day, the Griffins go all out. Peter gives voters free hot dogs. Chris dresses as a giant ballot. Meg hands out flyers that immediately get used as napkins. Stewie accidentally locks Rudd in a porta potty until polls close. Peter wins by 1 vote. Act V. Epilogue, a Griffin living room, Lois. Well, you're officially a city councilman. Peter. And my first law? Free nachos at every council meeting. Stewie. My work here is done for now. Brian. This city's doomed. Cutaway. City council chamber with a nacho cheese fountain in the middle of the room.
The end.
Act 2 Int. Peter Witch's lunch rush. Peter is overwhelmed by the lunchtime crowd. Peter, oh boy, I didn't know so many people ate lunch. Customer number 1, my sandwich is just a slice of bread with ketchup. Peter, congratulations, you found my simplistic menu. You should see the gourmet list. Critic, as a food critic, I must say this is the most unique sandwich. A bold deconstruction of the genre. Peter, oh, stop. You're making my apron blush. EXT, Street, Day, Quagmire, Cleveland, and Joe passed by the shop, noticing the chaos inside. Quagmire, I've seen in-flight meals that looked better. Cleveland, this place has about the same turbulence too. Joe, maybe Peter's not cut out for this.
Int.
Peter Witches, counter area. Peter attempts to serve a new batch of sandwiches. Peter, fresh batch of, oops, all crumbs sandwiches coming right up. Customer number 2, this tastes odd. Peter, thank you. It's my secret blend of unknowable ingredients. Act 3 Int. Griffin living room, night. Family meeting to discuss the shop. Lois, Peter, I think you should consider closing the shop.
Int.
Griffin living room, night. Peter is eating popcorn out of a giant mixing bowl while watching a movie. TV announcer, VO, Quahog Cineplex is hiring ushers for the summer blockbuster season. Peter, Lois, this is it. Free movies, unlimited popcorn, and the power to tell people to shush. Lois, Peter, you'll just end up watching every movie instead of working. Peter, Lois, I can multitask, watch movies, and ignore my responsibilities. Cutaway gag, Int. Movie theater, Day, Peter, wearing an usher uniform, laughing loudly at the screen while customers try to get his attention. Act 1 Int. Quahog Cineplex, Day. Peter shows up wearing an usher vest that's clearly too small, holding a flashlight like it's a lightsaber. Theater manager, you'll tear tickets, guide people to their seats, and keep the place clean. Peter, got it, but if someone's phone rings, I'm answering it. Montage. Peter, AS movie theater usher eats half a customer's popcorn for quality control. Gives wrong theater directions just to see what happens. Tries to sell bootleg DVDs in the lobby.
Int.
Griffin kitchen, night. Peter brags to the family. Peter, best part about being an usher? You can watch the same movie 12 times and call it work. Stewie, yes, a true cinematic parasite. Cold open it. Griffin living room, afternoon. Stewie is watching an animal documentary. Peter walks in eating animal crackers. TV announcer, VO. The Quahog Zoo is hiring new tour guides for the summer season. Peter, Lois, this is perfect. I love animals, I love talking, and I love talking to animals. Lois, Peter, you can't just make up animal facts. Peter, Lois, 99% of animal facts are just opinions with fur. Cutaway gag, EXTZOO. Day, Peter points at a giraffe. Peter, and that, folks, is a long-necked horse that lost a bet. ACT1EXT, Quahog ZOO. Day, Peter arrives in a safari hat and khaki vest, holding a walkie-talkie. Zoo manager, your job is to lead tours, answer questions, and keep guests safe. Peter got it, and if the monkeys throw anything at me, I'm throwing it back. Montage. Peter A.S. Zoo tour guide tells kids penguins are just cold chickens. Lets a goat ride in a zoo golf cart. Accidentally drops his lunch into the lion enclosure.
Int.
Griffin kitchen, night. Peter brags to the family. Peter, best part about working at the zoo? You get to act smart just because you can pronounce hippopotamus. Stewie, yes, truly a scholar of the absurd. Act I, the offer. Opening, Griffin living room, Lois. Family, our reality TV producer saw our Christmas card online and wants us to star in a show about our lives. Peter, finally, my destiny, to be famous for doing nothing. Cutaway, Peter on a red carpet eating popcorn and saying, "This is just like the movies, except the popcorn is free." Meg, what if they make me look bad? Stewie, my dear Meg, reality TV exists to make you look bad. Act 2. The cameras arrive, the crew sets up cameras in every room of the house. Lois tries to act classy on camera, but ends up yelling at Peter within 10 minutes. Peter stages fake dramatic scenes, like pretending to get trapped in the fridge. Chris plays to the cameras by eating everything in slow motion. Meg hides from the crew, but they keep finding her. Stewie starts using the cameras to deliver dramatic monologues about the downfall of modern society. B-plot. Brian's on-screen romance. Brian flirts with the show's sound engineer. Brian, so what's your sign? Sound engineer, stop talking while I'm recording. Act 3. Manufactured drama. The producers start creating fake storylines. A love triangle between Peter, Lois, and the mailwoman. A fitness challenge, where Chris is forced to run laps for a prize he doesn't want. Meg's rebellion arc, where she's told to slam doors for no reason. Act I, the offer. Opening, Griffin living room, Lois. Peter, why is there a $20,000 charge to something called Astrotourism Adventures? Peter, oh, that's our family trip to space. I used the emergency credit card. Lois, Peter, that card is for emergencies. Peter, Lois, how many times in life do you get to say, "Oops, I dropped my nachos in zero gravity"? Cutaway, Peter chasing floating nacho cheese with his mouth in a spaceship. Act 2, boarding the rocket. The Griffins arrive at the spaceport. Peter is excited about space snacks. Chris wants to see aliens. Meg just wants to avoid motion sickness. Stewie is fascinated by the technology and already planning to hijack the ship. Brian's only concern is if they have wine on board. B-plot, Stewie's space takeover. Stewie decides the captain is unworthy and begins hacking into the ship's navigation system. Brian, you're not seriously going to hijack a rocket, are you? Stewie, Brian, if Bezos can do it, so can I. Act 3, space problems. Once in orbit, Peter lets go of a soda can, which floats into the control panel and causes a system warning. Chris tries to open a window for fresh air. Act I, the free vacation. Opening, Griffin living room, Lois. I want a free all-inclusive island getaway for the whole family. Peter, Lois, if I've learned anything in life, it's that anything free comes with a catch, except free samples, and even then you might get salmonella. Cutaway, Peter in a mall food court, eating a shrimp sample and immediately fainting. Chris, sweet, I'm packing my swimsuit. Meg, I'll just pack my book so I can ignore you all. Stewie, I'll pack a knife. You never know. Act 2, the trap. When they arrive, the resort turns out to be part of a reality survival game show, Stranded for Cash. Host, you'll live on this island for a week with only basic supplies. The last family standing wins $50,000. Lois. Peter, what did you sign us up for? Peter, I thought all-inclusive meant all-you-can-eat hot dogs. Act 3. Island life. Peter builds a shelter out of pool noodles. It collapses. Lois actually starts a decent campfire, but Peter uses it to toast 40 marshmallows at once. Chris tries fishing, but ends up catching his own shoe. Meg finds a freshwater stream and refuses to share until someone says something nice about her. Stewie and Brian start plotting to overthrow the host and take over the island. B-plot: Stewie's island coup. Stewie bribes other contestants with coconuts in exchange for loyalty. Brian. Stewie, it's a reality show. There's no real power here. Stewie, tell that to my coconut army. Act 4. The storm. A huge storm hits. Peter's noodle shelter blows away into the ocean. Chris gets stuck inside a giant seashell trying to ride it like a sled. Act 1 continued. EXT. Neighborhood street. Day. Peter spots a rival ice cream truck driver, Ice Cream Joe, who seems to have cornered the market on snow cones. A challenge arises. Peter. Joe, how about a little friendly competition? Whoever sells the most today gets to keep the Chill Master title. Ice Cream Joe, you're on. Griffin. The neighborhood children are the judges, lured in by free samples. Cutaway gag. Peter in a makeshift commercial. Peter, hi, I'm Peter Griffin for Peter's Premium Pops. Come for the ice cream. Stay, because you're stuck to the pavement in the heat. ACT2EXT, residential street. Day. Peter sets up an elaborate stunt with a watermelon cannon to attract kids, turning the street into a circus. Peter, step right up, kids. Free scoops if you can catch them midair. Chaos ensues as children scramble for ice cream, turning it into a sticky free-for-all.
Ant.
Griffin kitchen. Night. Lois and Brian are watching the local news. News reporter, Theo. And there's uproar in Quahog as a bizarre ice cream stunt clogs the street. Back to you, Connie. Lois. Peter, when your antics make the news, it's usually not a good thing. Peter, I was delivering joy. Lois, and possibly an increase in local ant populations. ACT3EXT, Quahog Ice Cream Depot. Day. Peter returns to the depot, expecting a hero's welcome, but is instead met by the depot manager. Depot manager. Peter, you've sparked a neighborhood feud. It's time to chill out permanently. Feeling defeated, Peter spots Ice Cream Joe, who approaches him. Ice Cream Joe, hey, you've got guts, Griffin. In fact, you've got a new fan. Want to team up? Act I. The idea. Opening. Griffin kitchen. Lois. Instead of flying for our vacation this year, I booked us a cross-country train trip. Peter. Lois, trains are just long buses with fancier bathrooms. Cutaway. Peter in a train bathroom eating a sandwich and saying, classy. Chris. Cool. Can I ride on the roof like in the movies? Lois. Absolutely not. Stewie. I'll allow it for scientific observation. Act 2. Boarding the train. They get their seats in a cramped cabin. Peter immediately starts befriending strangers for their snacks. Chris gets lost and ends up in the baggage car. Meg tries to read, but keeps getting interrupted by an overly chatty passenger. Stewie and Brian explore the dining car and discover it serves gourmet microwave burritos. B-plot. Stewie's train heist. Stewie learns there's a luxury car at the back of the train with better food and no screaming kids. Brian. So, what, you're gonna sneak in? Stewie. No, Brian. I'm going to infiltrate. He starts plotting a mini heist to gain access. Act 3. Train trouble. Peter tries to order everything from the snack cart and gets banned. Chris gets stuck in the bathroom when the lock jams. Meg accidentally joins a knitting club in the lounge car. Stewie executes his heist, involving fake mustaches, a forged ticket, and bribing the conductor with pudding. Cutaway, Stewie in a tuxedo sipping apple juice in the luxury car. Act I, the setup, opening, Griffin kitchen a Lois. Family, I signed us up for the Unplugged Challenge, 1 week without phones, TV, or internet. Peter, Lois, without the internet, how will I look up pictures of sandwiches I can't afford? Cutaway, Peter looking at a giant $500 sandwich online, saying, "One day, baby." Meg, so no texting? Chris, no gaming. Stewie, no online scheming with my arms dealers forum? Lois, that's the point. We'll spend real quality time together. Act 2, Day 1 withdrawal. The first day is rough. Peter tries reading a book, but uses it as a plate for nachos. Chris stares out the window like he's in a sad music video. Meg starts talking to the family, which alarms everyone. Stewie builds a crude radio tower to contact the outside world. B-plot, Brian's old-school dating without dating apps. Brian decides to try real-life flirting at the park. Brian, turns out, approaching strangers without an algorithm is creepy. Stewie, shocking revelation, Casanova. Act 3, forced family fun. Lois organizes wholesome activities, board games. Peter flips the Monopoly board after losing. Charades, Chris only acts out chicken nugget no matter the clue. Story time, Stewie reads The Art of War to lull everyone into a false sense of security. Act 4, Cabin Fever. By day 5, Peter is making shadow puppets and arguing with them. Meg has started a diary documenting the collapse of civilization. Act 2 Int. Quahog Arena backstage day. Peter is munching on a hot dog, obliviously ignoring a group of schnauzers barking frantically and tangled in their leashes. Dog handler, we need a judge that actually takes this seriously. Peter, oh, I'm serious. Seriously hungry. Pass the mustard. Cutaway gag. Int. Fancy restaurant. Day. Peter sits at a table with a white tablecloth, making balloon animals out of sausages for the wait staff. Peter, look, it's a sausage poodle.
Int.
Quahog Arena, judges table. Later, the final round is underway. Peter's fellow judges take their mark seriously, while Peter is busy doodling again, this time drawing a plan for a sausage necklace. Fellow Judge Peter, any thoughts on the terrier? Peter, needs more Joey Tribbiani vibes. You know, how you doing?
Int.
Arena, center stage. Moments later, the winner is about to be announced. Peter takes the microphone. Peter, and the winner is, wait for it, whoever can bring me the biggest sandwich. The audience gasps and then reluctantly cheers as a corgi trots up with a ham and cheese sub. Act 3 Int. Griffin house, living room, night. The family gathers around as Peter proudly places a framed dog show certificate on the wall that reads, most unlikely judge. Lois, Peter, you turned a prestigious event into a circus. Peter, a circus with sandwiches. Lois, tell me that isn't a win. Stewie, father, your tenure as a judge might be over, but your legacy of nonsense is secure. Brian, yeah, I guess judging isn't about picking favorites or handing out food. Peter. Peter, maybe not, but I learned something important today. Lois, and what's that? Peter, when life hands you a dog show, make a sandwich. The family laughs. Peter smiles triumphantly. End credits roll as Peter tries to train Brian to trot like a prize-winning poodle around the living room.